Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you on this November 4th, 2025. I got all your stories for your rush hour ride to work. Lots to get into. Updates on Laura Owens, her trial with Mike Maricini. Really a lot to talk about in the Justice for Clayton community. Also more on Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni. The question some content creators are asking, has Blake Lively inadvertently healed a political divide? We'll dive into that. And then more on the shutdown as people are getting new jobs, government workers. There's one who's now working and has created a popular hot dog stand in Washington, D.C. And my guess is he's having the time of his life. Who doesn't want to run a hot dog stand? I'd be that nuts for nuts guy. Let's build onto the hot dog stand. We'll make a whole empire. And then we've got some more talk about SNAP benefits as Trump, I guess, has recently revealed moments ago, or as you were listening to this yesterday, revealed he's going to partially fund the SNAP, even though it should be fully funded even during a government shutdown. But we'll get into all these stories and more, and it starts right now on The Rush. So before we get into the Blake Lively stuff, we have a big update in the Laura Owens versus Mike Maricini world. If you aren't familiar, Mike Maricini was one of many men that have restraining orders against them from Laura Owens. She's being charged with 7 felonies in Arizona. I'm a star witness. Now, today, I am scheduled to fly to San Francisco for this trial. Rachel Juarez has been added, as you see on the docket here. She's been added as Mike Maricini's attorney. He's got a dream team of attorneys. He's got Omar, the tilted lawyer. He's got Rachel Juarez from the Emmy-winning Hot Benches. She's a hot bench lawyer. She's on the left there. Rachel Juarez, good friend of the show. Again, Rachel Juarez also has been on the podcast. So I guess they are holed up in San Francisco and ready to defend Mike Maricini they've got a witness that is the forensic expert who's going to go over all of the laptop messages, right? We have all of these iMessages that Laura Owens sent Mike Maricini, claiming to have ovarian cancer, claiming to be pregnant, claiming to have an abortion, claiming, faking a medical document, faking a doctor. She faked a lot of things, and we have all of the proof, thanks to our audience who raised money to hire this expert, computer forensic expert, for moments like this to testify. And if Laura ever comes after me, we'll bring the expert in. We're going to get him frequent flyer miles to all these different trials we have going on. But boy, getting down to the truth can be expensive. Speaking of which, I'll put in the description of this video, or of this podcast, I will put the link to Mike Maricini's GoFundMe if anyone does want to donate to him, because I do have updates, and yet I can't share them all with you. I know, what a tease. If you go to yesterday's Patreon episode, patreon.com/Dave Neal, it was one of the craziest days at the Rush Hour Situation Room, as we're going back and forth because I'm supposed to fly out in hours, and I can cancel my flight up till 10 minutes before it departs. God bless you, Southwest. So we'll see if I make it to the Bay Area or not. I don't know if I'll have to give up my reservation at that New York steakhouse. We'll have to see. But either way, it is now my belief that I no longer think Laura Owens is going to show up to court, put it that way. And for that reason, I don't plan on attending unless something changes, and something can change. It's gone back and forth. My wife is so annoyed. She's like, you going to be home for dinner? I'm like, I literally don't know. You're going to have to call Laura and ask. You know what I mean? We're going to have to get ring camera footage of, can somebody go to this? No, don't bother her. I'm kidding. Don't bother her. But either way, she, of course, didn't attend the trial several weeks ago and made a last-minute bogus ADA request, said she was literally bleeding out or whatever. I don't know what she said. She said she was grossly anorexic and had all of these gastro issues and whatever. And, some of that might be true. But that weekend, that literally day or next day, she was riding her horse in one of those little pony show things that they do where they jump over a couple logs and pretend like they're athletes. Now, don't come for me, horse ladies. My beef is only with Laura. Do what you got to do with your horses, okay? I'm turning a blind eye. I got those little horse blinders on. I'm focused on justice. That's all I care about here. So anyway, will I show up? Will I not? I honestly don't know. You'll have to. But my plan was to be there at the trial. But again, I'm a dad. I gotta take care of my family first. So if Laura's not showing up, I need to save my miles for another trip. And if she doesn't show up, what will the judge do? But again, we'll get into more of that, into the details. I'm getting a lot of information. I can't share it yet. We're gonna wait for it to go through the system. All right, let's move it on from there. Today is election day, and here's Fox News talking about and again, not election day for everybody, but for New York, it's the big mayoral race, probably the biggest mayoral race of all time. Where it's essentially Cuomo running as an independent against Baldoni running as a Democrat, and then Sliwa is running as a Republican, but he's probably not going to win. I mean, it's a very blue city. We've got this race, and then we've got the Prop 50 in California. We're going to be discussing both of these. Stick around, and then we'll get to the Blake Lively stuff. We do have a lot of juice. There's a lot of tea to talk about in Blake Lively's world, but we're going to package this all up into one big, beautiful podcast. But here, have a listen to this.
Had to pay attention very much to the results of a mayor's race in New York City until now. And Tuesday night's going to blow the doors off you for political fascination, all right?
I'll have more updates on Zohran Mamdani as Donald Trump was interviewed on 60 Minutes. It's actually very interesting. We'll get to that at the very end of this episode. But the latest polls for Californians are saying that they are ready to say yes on Prop 50. Prop 50 proposes temporarily using newly drawn partisan congressional districting maps, gerrymandering, which replaces maps currently created by the Independent California Citizens Redistricting Commission. The strategy behind the new maps is to elect more Democrats to the U.S. House of Reps in the 2026 midterm elections and counter Texas's recent redistricting, which is skewed to benefit the GOP in the midterms. Again, every state should have independent redistricting commissions to make it fair, and that's just not the case. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, we should all have an equal voice and be represented as such. Gerrymandering makes it so that a lot of minority communities have their votes watered out, and so they don't mean as much because, like here in Nashville, it'd be like rather than have a blue representative, they cut the vote in so many different ways so that the vote is watered down in other red areas, if that makes sense. I think it does. But either way, that'll be a very interesting race to discuss. We'll have all of that. We probably won't have the results this afternoon, but we will certainly have them tomorrow. Wednesday is going to be a crazy day. Whether I make it to San Francisco or not, we're going to have a crazy episode. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Okay, we have a lot to dive into with this Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni story. This will be like the third day in a row we're covering it, but we're getting all the content creators chiming in. So let's do this. Let's reset the deck, take a quick break. When we come back, we've got what Popcorn Planet has to say about the misinformation going around. That coming next. Today's episode is sponsored by Veracity, an all-natural way to slim down, get energized, and sharpen your focus. Veracity is tackling the root cause of so many issues, metabolism. With Veracity's drug-free, clinically proven, and doctor-formulated solutions, you can support your body's needs to live your healthiest life. Try Metabolism Ignite, the #1 doctor-recommended GLP-1 booster and GLP-1 alternative. No side effects or allergens. Metabolism Ignite is a natural, safe, plant-based aid that results in an 85% reduction in hunger and is clinically proven to lose, on average, 9 pounds in 90 days. So what's in Veracity? It's a unique blend of lemon, verbena, and hibiscus extracts, green coffee bean extract, and magnesium. Veracity is safe to take along with GLP-1 medications to aid in boosting your metabolism and appetite control. Head to veracityselfcare.com and use code RUSHHOUR for up to 45% off your order. Once again, that's veracityselfcare.com for up to 40% off, and make sure you use my promo code RUSHHOUR so they know I sent you. Veracity doesn't just offer a quick fix for fatigue or weight gain. The products actually help you maintain a healthier lifestyle. It's the best kind of self-care. We shared this Halloween story that Justin Baldoni lost, right? This big idea that so when you search TMZ Baldoni loss, you'll see it immediately pop up here. 3 days ago, TMZ released a story, Justin Baldoni accepts loss in Blake legal war, but she's not done with him. Now, this makes it look like Baldoni's on the ropes, when in fact, he's kind of in the driver's seat. He's definitely winning, I think, the majority of public sentiment with regards to the pre-trial things going on. It's all been but revealed that Blake Lively was the one coordinating with Stephanie Jones to acquire and extract text messages, through a sham lawsuit and all that stuff. We know that, right? Well, this article, along with a bunch others, were tweeted in part by Taylor Lorenz, former guest on the show. Taylor said, and will all the reactionary Democrat and right-wing content creators who spent months participating in the smear campaign against Blake apologize and admit they were wrong. So this was too little, too soon from Taylor Lorenz, as it's just, the story itself was not accurate whatsoever, not accurate. And I don't necessarily blame her for sharing a story that wasn't accurate. We've all done that. And she shared stories from Rolling Stone, or the stories that cover this, Rolling Stone, Complex.com, TMZ, people that have been covering it, they all got it wrong. And I don't think any of them have retracted it yet. And I don't think Taylor Lorenz has retracted it. Here's what Andy had to say from Popcorn Planet. Tried sending this to Taylor to see if she'd admit she was wrong and correct her incorrect reactionary post declaring Justin Baldoni supporters wrong, but of course she won't. The ignorant free speech enthusiast blocked me. Folks should politely see if she'll correct it. Now, of course, I did comment on her post. Legal Bite says this is yet another disappointing example of journalism outlets not understanding the very litigation about which they claim to be informing the public. And I'm not here to defend Taylor. I just think it's like, the blame is on the people that wrote the articles, not the ones that shared it. But you could also blame Taylor Lorenz too. I'm not pimping for Taylor. You guys know her and I are in complete opposite ends of this. Would I call myself Team Baldoni? I mean, some people will. I exist on the side that believes he's innocent and Blake Lively tried to extract control of the movie. That's where I exist. I've been there really since I've read his response and waited patiently on the edge of my seat for her to provide any evidence whatsoever to back her claims. It never happened. My guess is, and some people think there's some cabal of Blake Lively supporters all working together. I don't sip that Kool-Aid. I don't think Taylor Lorenz is working for anybody on this. She is friends with people that are on the pro-Blake side, absolutely. She's, I believe, decently close friends with, and I could be wrong, but I believe, I'll retract it if I am, I believe she's close friends with Liz Plank. I believe Taylor Lorenz has talked to people behind the scenes that are on the pro-Blake side, so she believes the people that she spoke with. And I believe the opposite that she believes, because I haven't seen any evidence to change my mind, right? So, I responded to her. Someone says she won't do it. She blocked the responses to the original post when Dave Neal corrected. I think she is biased, and maybe she is working with Lively's PR. Now, and again, everyone can have their beliefs. I don't think Taylor Lorenz is working with anybody. Is she biased? Well, she believes what she believes, and I believe what I believe. And we live in a beautiful world where you can do that, and people can decide not to follow her. I never comment on Twitter because you guys know I think Taylor and I are, I don't know if you want to call it a friendship, but I like her. I like people I disagree with in some ways. I don't know, because there are things I agree with Taylor on, and then there's things that I'm far off with her on. We both, anyway, we don't need to get into all the things I agree or disagree on. But politically speaking, it's interesting because you see people wanting to place everyone into one box versus the other. Here's our friend Lauren. She was responding to this dude who says, "Tell me again how there's no coordinated harassment campaign targeting any woman who doesn't worship Justin Baldoni. Guess their group chat decided to go target Taylor Lorenz today. Best make the most of it while the check's still clear, guys." And that was in response to folks like Lauren and Zach and others that corrected Taylor Lorenz. Now, I also corrected Taylor Lorenz, but I guess I don't fit the narrative of being in that same group chat. So maybe I wasn't, I don't know, I wasn't part of this smear by this guy who's, I guess, on a pro Blake Lively side. And I don't know. I always say everyone's working with their best intentions, but we couldn't be on further sides from this. Lauren says, "I blocked this guy ages ago. If he doesn't like my opinions, he can simply F off and not go out of his way to look from a burner account." Yeah, it's very bizarre. And again, I make my living on YouTube and podcasting. So as much as I want to respond to a lot of these types of things, I'll only respond if it's in the format that I am generating an income from. Now, someone like that might say, "Oh, Dave, this is just you trying to make money off of a situation." And my response to that is partially. Why give my work away for free? Why give away my entertainment for free, right? You get in a fight with someone online, and trust me, there are some people that want to fight with me online. If I get in a fight with them online, on on a platform that I am not benefiting from, then I'm just giving away my time, my energy, and all of my drama to somebody else. It's like, no, you got to come into my arena if you want to steal my time. At least I'm going to try to, get you to have to listen to an ad in the process. That's how we fund these things, folks. And you know what? And it's so funny too, because it's like, I wouldn't cover these things if I wasn't being paid for it. I mean, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I don't do stand up unless someone's cutting me a check, unless, there's other, unless I want to do a show or work on my material. The point is we got to take care of ourselves, right? And when it comes to this, will the checks clear? The checks are going to clear no matter what my opinion is. That's just the way the internet works. They believe we're all part of some giant smear campaign, all because a lot of people have the same opinion, right? Which is the obvious opinion that Blake Lively is commandeering or tried to commandeer this film, and her evidence didn't really back up her claims. I mean, that's what most people feel. And it's really minimizing to say, well, you guys all must be on this side because the checks are clearing. And it's like, no, it's not that it's not that we're pandering to a pro Baldoni audience because that's where the money is. The money's there because that's where the truth is for so many people. Does that make sense? Have we covered this all right? Anyhow, let's continue moving on. So we've got some other updates. I wanted to share what Katie Pope had to say. I've shared her a lot lately. I think Katie Pope is really sweet. I love the way she TikToks. She's very good at kind of drawing her audience into her. It's such a personal app there, the way short form TikTok works. But here's what she has to say. She says, maybe this Justin Baldoni stuff is actually healing the political divide. Have a listen.
Is Justin Baldoni going to be the great equalizer of the political divide? Because I kind of think he is.
No, Katie Pope, you are. You're the equalizer.
I posted earlier about Taylor Lorenz's post, which I thought was insane, because she tries to say it's right-wing conservative content creators agreeing with Baldoni, or this reactionary portion of the Democratic Party. And for those of you that don't know, Taylor Lorenz is a well-known journalist. I think she's worked for The Times. She did Forbes Under 40 or whatever. This is not some random account. And she was basically posting that, Baldoni loses. And well, the trial's not till March, honey. So, yeah. And it's just the way that they decide to spin things. It's just so inaccurate. The motion for dismiss and the dismissal happened in June. It's November. And it's just so clear it's a spin and PR. And it's why we can't believe the media. And as a journalist, to be frank, she should be ashamed of herself. But what is really nice to see here is that people on the right and the left that are pro-Baldoni are coming together. And I just think that's beautiful. We can all agree on something. Doesn't have to be every part of everything, but I just think that that's really, really nice.
Yeah, and look, I look at this as less as two-dimensional and three-dimensional. This idea of left versus right, it's insane. And I think the last several elections have showed in the three-dimensional world, there's a populist group of people that don't want to just be spoon-fed their information. They want to look for themselves. They want to check their sources, and maybe they want to vote for somebody that's not a candidate that's run for office their entire life. Whatever the case may be, right? And so whenever I criticize, because I do it all the time, right? I criticize Trump. I think we live in I think he's doing a terrible job. I think the polling shows that. But I don't criticize Trump voters, or at least I try not to. I think people try to do the best with their information. And if you voted for one candidate over the other, you have reasons for why you did that. And I'm gonna make a steadfast sort of pitch as to why I think he's doing a bad job, and I'm gonna share that on my channel. I'm not gonna be neutral. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. And as far as what's the percentage of people believing in Justin in their political identity, I don't think it's right-leaning at all. I don't think it's more people on the right than on the left. Here you see there's people saying I'm far left progressive and lifelong loud feminist, and it's like, look, I'm a progressive guy. I believe people when they make accusations, but I also verify. I trust, but verify. I look into things and I change my opinion. I don't try to cancel somebody until they have their fair say. All those different things. It sounds obvious to me. And I do think there is a little bit of a coordinated effort, maybe from Blake's crisis PR to label Baldoni supporters as if they are not going to believe women, when in fact there are more women that have been harmed on the Baldoni side. Are you kidding me? You've got Jen Abel. She's had her career ruined over this. How about Justin Baldoni's wife? How about Heath's wife, who, Blake Lively's requesting to see all of their intimate birthing videos? And, how about all of the other people that are, anyway, you get the point, right? So we have saved space and left grace for Blake Lively to produce evidence that would back up her claims. We haven't seen it yet. It's not too late. I save room to change my opinion on the matter. I don't think I will, as discovery has closed, and all of the so far all of the information that's come out has been that Blake Lively was part of a coordinated effort to extract information and sham subpoena and all that jazz, right? So we get it, we understand, and people are asking the right questions. In the It Ends With Lawsuit subreddit, Blake Lively, no assistant directors, no camera operators, right? So the discovery is closed, and there's nobody on Blake Lively's side that she wanted to call as a witness that was operating cameras. Usually there's 2 or 3 camera operators. They're literally looking at the scene. They're there in all of the rehearsals. The assistant directors, if you don't know how films work, you have the director, in this case Baldoni, first AD, second AD, second AD. There's all of these production assistants. They all exist. The first team PAs, right? The production assistant for first team. First team is Blake Lively. It's Baldoni. It's anyone with a speaking part, right? They are there to take people around all day long. None of them, I guess, have any information that's going to crack this case in the favor of Blake Lively. And that means a lot, because unlike your random job at Office Max, there's eyeballs on Blake Lively all the time. She is she's worth a hell of a lot of money on that set, right? So she's either in hair and makeup, she's in her trailer, they have eyes on her all day long. Now, that doesn't mean something couldn't have happened, but again, it's highly likely that if something did happen, there would be evidence time-stamped from when it would have gone down. So she'll have her chance to prove it all in court. All right, let's move it on to this kind of nice story, I guess, from the government shutdown. Meet the IRS lawyer who is using his furlough to launch a hot dog stand. All right, you don't like IRS lawyers? Well, this guy's he's I guess living his passion, which is slinging some street meat on the corner. Have a listen.
I've been selling out every day. I've said this before, but if I can make one person laugh or smile with my shtick and menu, that makes me really, really happy.
I love that he sticks to wearing the suit. He's like, I don't care if I get some hot dog juice on me. This is my suit. This is what I wear to work.
Hi, my name's Isaac Stein. I'm 31 years old. I live in D.C. I am here at my hot dog cart, Shysters, operating it in full swing. It is an ironical play on the fact that I'm a lawyer. It was originally intended as a weekend project, but since I've been furloughed on October 8th, I've been operating it most days. There's been a tremendous outpouring of support from the community.
So you remember that guy, the naked cowboy, you pay to go see him? People are paying to go see the IRS guy sell him a hot dog. Listen, this is what I have to say about when you work for the man, or when you have a corporate job and you have a boss, like, by all means, maybe you got the best job in the world, you love it, but it just goes to show, I bet you this guy enjoys working his hot dog stand more than he enjoys being a lawyer, because so many jobs, they come with this idea, this prestige, this socioeconomic hierarchy. I'm this, here's my business card. I put on a tie to show you that I'm of value. I'm a white, boring, be a hot dog stand owner. And again, it just goes to show you, regardless of the shutdown, live the life you want, right? Go out there. It doesn't matter what your degree is. Some of the best minds get their degree, they learn from it, they ditch it, and they do what the hell they want, whatever that might be. From, working for yourself to starting a podcast, to do whatever the hell you want. Sling your hot dog stand is my opinion, as my advice for you. Well, here's the update we got. SNAP benefits will be partially funded. Again, they should be fully funded, but during the government shutdown, which might last a very long time. I don't see this thing ending anytime soon. We are soon to pass the 35-day mark, which will be the longest government shutdown in our young nation's history. But here we have an explanation about the Trump administration, I guess, partially delivering on their promise. Have a listen.
Our significant breaking news just coming in. The Trump administration says now it will be funding food benefits for families in America that need the SNAP food assistance. This just coming down. There was concern that the administration was not going to continue to fund these critical food benefits for 1 in 8 American families. But after a judge's ruling last week, it now appears that the administration is reversing course and deciding that despite the government shutdown, it will find the contingency funds to partially fund these SNAP benefits.
Which, by the way, is this is hard. Like, partially fund. The funding is already partial, right? No one's going, oh boy, I'm going to go retire in Turks and Caicos off of all of the SNAP money I've received. In a lot of cases, it's like $6 a day or less that people get. And anyhow, it's a tragic circumstance. The administration has used it as a bargaining chip to try to pressure people and twist the knife into the Democrats to get them to open the government back up. But as people are seeing, as the open enrollment has begun for 2026 health insurance, people are seeing that their health insurance has skyrocketed. So it's like, what's a better deal? Get the government open right now so you can get your $6 a day in food stamps, but then all of a sudden you're losing $3,000 a month in government subsidies and you don't have health care and you die when you get a cough. You know, I mean, seriously, this is the rock and the hard place that we've been stuck in between. So anyhow, let's move it on here. Oh, I wanted to share this at the end of the episode. So here it is. Here's a 60 Minutes episode with Donald Trump. He was asked about the Democratic candidate for mayor of New York, Zohran Mamdani, who, by the way, is heavily projected to win today. Do what the hell you want with your vote, but he is heavily projected to win. I think it's over 90% chance he's going to win. After, of course, he defeated Cuomo in the primaries with many more candidates. So he could win in a landslide or he could lose. We'll have to see. That's why you do the votes, right? Either way, here's what Trump had to say about Zohran Mamdani.
With state and local elections coming up Tuesday, we asked the president about the highly anticipated mayoral race that includes former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and Zohran Mamdani.
Zohran Mamdani, 34-year-old Democratic socialist. He's the front
communist, not socialist, communist. He's far worse than a socialist.
Some people have compared him to a left-wing version of you, charismatic, breaking the old rules. What do you think about that?
Well, I think I'm a much better looking person than him, right?
With state and local elections coming up Tuesday.
There it is, folks. That's our president. Not mine, not yours. That's our president of this here United States of America. Hot or not, Trump versus Zohran Mamdani. Like, who do you want? I mean, look, everyone's got their preference, right? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But again, you don't need any reminders of that. We're here to cover it. Now, what's interesting about this 60 Minutes interview is 60 Minutes was sued by Donald Trump over the way they edited their interview with presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Here's a summation of why this is interesting.
So CBS is under fire after releasing a highly edited interview with Donald Trump during their latest episode of 60 Minutes. They recorded for roughly 73 minutes and only aired under 28 minutes of the interview on television. Now, normally this, of course, wouldn't be much of a big deal. People edit down their TV shows in order to fit their time slots all the time, but this one's different because Donald Trump sued CBS and Paramount for $10 billion before revising his lawsuit to $20 billion for editing down their interview with Kamala Harris in a similar way during the election.
Now, I've my most viral video I've ever made on my other channel was covering Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, specifically how NBC edited their morning coverage versus their evening coverage. They changed the color correction of their interview with Amber Heard. They changed how dark it was. They made it darker and bluer and more dramatic for their evening coverage versus their morning coverage. And I think it's wrong. And that's why podcasting is ruling the world, because you can watch a full interview on a podcast or a YouTube channel and you can really understand what someone stands for. I don't think they should have edited the Kamala Harris interview. I certainly don't think they should have edited the Donald Trump interview. I don't think it's illegal to edit either one of them. But how rich of Trump to literally sue CBS and 60 Minutes. Remember the main showrunner of 60 Minutes quit. He was like, all right, I'm done. And that, I mean, he was like the main guy who ran the thing. And then Trump wins the lawsuit, not through the court, but they settle, which every one of these spineless bitches settles. And they settled. And then he goes, see, why would they pay me if I wasn't right? And it's because they knew they were going to have to ask you for favors down the road. And we all know how that works out. But this is what kills me is the hypocrisy that exists in our country. Whenever the Republicans have tried to get a Supreme Court justice approved, they'll squeeze it in at the last moment. When the Democrats try to do it, when they're in office, Mitch McConnell says, "Oh, you're a lame duck president. You can't." Like, they always have a rule why they win when they're not in power. They have a rule for why they win when they're in power. And I'm not blaming those that voted for this, but it's insane to me how you've got literally in Texas, Trump calling for redistricting. And then California says, we're going to redistrict to offset your redistricting. And then they go, oh, California shouldn't be able to. It's like, what the fuck? And that, I mean, literally, what the fuck? I mean, what else can you say about the hypocrisy that exists? So no one's going to sue 60 Minutes for their interview with Trump. Oh, maybe they will. But again, it's just like rules for you. It's just, you just see it. You see it from a trillion miles away. And yet then you get comments from people going, Dave, I don't think you should be covering this stuff. And it's like, if we can't cover and defend the First Amendment, we don't get a podcast. Because if Trump can just willy-nilly sue 60 Minutes, who's he coming for next? So either way, CBS, look, and I don't know if I blame CBS so much in this situation. They interviewed the president. What are they going to do? But I do think if you're the news, knowing that you have unlimited bandwidth on the internet, if you're the news, I'm not saying there should be a law, but I think we should put pressure on the news stations when they interview somebody, a political leader, to air the entire interview online. There's no reason why they can't put the whole 70 minutes on YouTube. Sure, you gotta fit into a window for your show with your pharmaceutical ads. You need to shove up our asses, whatever. Prilosec, Xanax, take that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Whatever it is they need to do it. But give us the real version. I think Trump owes it to people so we can hear what he has to say about all these different things. I don't know, just a thought. I would have said the same thing about Biden. I honestly would have said the same thing. Is that we need to know what the hell we're listening to and not whatever version they want to make us believe. And I think if we do that, we'll begin to restore some trust in the media, or maybe we won't. But either way, that's what I think. Okay, that's it for today. We'll have to see. Big day, or I should say we'll be back this afternoon. I'll let you know if I'm either in San Francisco or Nashville. I don't think I'll be anywhere else, although it's yet to be seen. We'll see if we're covering that Laura Owens trial or not. Fingers crossed, I got my refunds ready to process. We'll see you this afternoon. Until then, I'm Dave, and this is The Rush.